Hi, my name is Tammy Kress, and I'm the Executive Director here at Studio One. Every year, we have a special thing that we do called projects. Our projects are open to anyone. They can apply. We usually start the applications on February 15th. And anyone can apply to do a project at Studio One for the following season. So projects can be anything from a pet project that you want to do to some original work that you want to get staged. We've had dance concerts, we've had live band concerts, we've had all kinds of things that come in as projects. We usually do 3 to 4 a year. And we wanted to get some information out so that people could know and have a little stronger understanding of what it involves to do a project at Studio One. So first, we want you to know that we feel strongly about projects at Studio One because they fit very strongly into our mission statement. We believe very strongly in creating unique theater, and our projects have been some of our strongest productions that we've done. We love them here at Studio One. So we feel very strongly about them, and we try and surround them and make them as successful as possible. Projects only perform for one weekend. That's usually 4 performances. If we think there will be large audiences, we can do 2 performances on a Saturday, but usually it's a Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday performance. Probably the most important thing you need to understand about projects would be that you are 100% financially responsible for those projects. So if there's rights, if there's royalties, anything attached to being able to produce the show, you are responsible for paying that, and it's not a reimburse. That's a responsibility that you have. And then anything that we don't have on hand, if there's a specialty prop, a specialty paint, anything that we don't have on hand, you are also responsible for that. So it becomes a zero budget item for us. And we want you to have a strong understanding of that before you apply for projects. We open up everything that we have for you. We provide rehearsal space for you. You can use any set pieces that we have, any props that we have, any paint supplies, anything that is on hand that we have is absolutely available for you to use for your project. We provide rehearsal space, but sometimes you have to understand it might be in the art room or it might be the lobby. We're very busy here, and when projects come on board, that usually gives us 3 productions going on during that time. So we just ask that people are understanding of that, and projects aren't the only ones that get banned to the art room or to the lobby. Lots of other groups do also. It just depends on how the rehearsal schedule lays out and sometimes the size of the cast and what's happening in the rehearsals. So just understand we do provide rehearsal space 100% for what we have, and we want you to do them here. We don't want them off site for insurance reasons, but sometimes we have to be a little creative with our rehearsal space, but it's always worked out in the past, and we just ask that you be supportive of that. We ask that you get your building schedule to the office manager as soon as possible. Even 2 or 3 months in advance really is necessary for us to get you calendared in. And a rough calendar is fine, and then once you cast it, and if there's changes, we can go in and make the changes. But again, we are very busy here, and we schedule our spaces 2-3 months in advance to have the time to be able to figure that out and get the space maximized. So you will need to have a rehearsal schedule to us as soon as possible. However, we are busy, and we ask that you be flexible because sometimes things will come up or things will have to change with other rehearsals, and so we do ask that you be flexible with that. We do ask also that as a director, you don't call all your actors for every rehearsal. That can be frustrating for actors, and we ask that you take time on your rehearsal schedule to only schedule people when they're needed so that time isn't wasted by the actors in your cast. When the mall closes, we have worked out a system with the mall, and they're very supportive of it. But when the mall closes, if you have actors that have to come after the mall closes at 8 o'clock, they need to text your stage manager or you or whoever is going to be on book or available to let them in. We ask that they not go through the restaurants. We get in big trouble when people go through the restaurants to get into the mall once the mall is locked. And usually the restaurant just won't let you do it. And we don't want you bothering them anyway. So just make sure that when it's closed, your actors come in through the door by someone letting them in from our cast. We have to be out of the building by 10:30 p.m. Mondays through Saturdays and 9 o'clock on Sundays. Now, if we have a load in or something has happened and someone needs to stay later, we do have a back door and that can be worked out, but that needs to be worked out with us ahead of time. Tech people, you are responsible for finding your own tech crew, and we ask that they not be our regulars. Part of our mission for projects is to bring new productions in, but also to help build our base of technicians and actors. So you will need to find your own technicians, and we will have to have them trained by our tech director or other people who are experienced on the equipment. If you use our regulars, you need to pay them because we pay them. And if we burn them out doing projects for free, then they're not even available for us, let alone to pay them. So if you use our regulars, like Jason or Matt or Al or Will, they will need to be paid. Otherwise, you need to find your own technicians to come in, and we will train them to do lights and sound and set. Don't be afraid to talk to the show before you and reuse part of their set. We do that on a regular basis. We can work out platforms to be left or walls to be left up, or you can be even creative and reuse their set in just a simpler way. We really encourage that, and not just with our projects. We try and do that with our other shows also. A big suggestion is to keep things simple. As the projects, they come in and they have big visions, but when you are the solo leader of that, it can get overwhelming. So just choose your battles wisely and keep as much simple as possible, and you'll thank yourself as the end sight comes, because it's really important that you're able to have a strong quality product, and sometimes towards the end it gets a little overwhelming. So keep things as simple as possible. We ask that you keep things legal. So you have to pay for rights for your show, and we will apply for them through the studio, but you're responsible for paying for them. But things like projection photos, they all need to be in public domain. You can't change the gender of characters. You can't change lines. We're just too visible now, and none of that can happen. So you need to make sure that you keep everything legal and above board. And if you have any questions, ask us to make sure that everything's legal. Don't be afraid to ask for guidance. Elizabeth Carroll is going to be our board liaison for projects. Communication is essential. We don't want you frustrated. We don't want to be frustrated with you. And the key to that is communication. We just need to, keep asking questions, keep checking in, and make sure that we have a good line open between us. You will have a producer assigned from our board. It's not quite as involved as a producer with like a main stage show. They will arrange for headshots and production and publicity photos. They will collect bios, and they will check in with you and try and solve major problems. They'll bring treats to your cast on Tech Week. They do that kind of thing. We do the playbill for projects, so you don't have to worry about that. We do ask our directors, producers, and other people involved with the show to sign the code of conduct. You'll get a copy of that once you are chosen to be a project. How we treat our actors and tech crews, it's very important to us. We want them all to be treated with respect. And remember that we are all volunteers here, and that people need to be treated that way, then respect their time. We can't berate them. We can't get super frustrated with them. We want this to be a safe and a positive environment. So again, please stay positive, and you'll read that code of conduct when your project is selected. We ask that the Black Box Theater stay defined as a thrust stage, so that you stage your show to be for thrust stage, not proscenium. And if you are not familiar with that, I'm happy to work with you on that to help you understand how that's different. But that's been a little bit of a project with projects in the past. They step in and want to do it as a proscenium, and we want to keep the integrity of the thrust staging in our space. So we ask that you stage all projects to be thrust staging. We want your cast to be aware that they have to clean. Just like any other casts with our main stage or our youth stage, our projects are expected to clean during Tech Week. After every rehearsal and every performance, our producer will help you put a list together, but they're expected to clean. I know that's a unique thing to Studio One, but it's something unique that we do, and it helps the cast take ownership. It helps save us money as far as cleaning goes, and helps lighten the load of Tech Week on the whole building. And last but not least, we ask that you have realistic expectations. We do great things here. We are proud of what we do. We put on quality productions, but we have our limits. You need to understand you can't do a second story in our space. There just isn't enough ceiling height. We can do some fog effects, but not very many because of the nature of our space. We can do some lighting effects, but again, we don't have a $1 million grid system. So we just ask that you manage your expectations as you come in, and we want a solid quality product without frustration on your end. So manage your expectations as you come in. Thank you so much for your interest in Studio One. We appreciate everyone who has ever done a project, who's looking into a project, and we hope to see you soon at Studio One.